Hi, class. This is Dr. Ramos. I wanted to give you a little bit of an insight on the one chapter about communication and leadership. The concepts in this lecture are a little bit complicated and they're difficult and complex, but they're not so difficult once you get a better understanding or a little bit of description to go with a PowerPoint to help you get a better grasp on what that's all about. So in this one lecture, I provided you with some concepts like persuasion. And persuasion, it's the ability to get people to do what you want them to do, and the person or the people that you're getting this to do, then they have to do it freely and willingly. The key words for the description of persuasion is that getting people to do what you want them to do, but they do it by free choice. Um, Coercion, on the other hand, is a form of persuasion, and so is manipulation and brainwashing. However, in essence, the difference is that with persuasion, people have the freedom to decide willingly what the right thing to do is. With coercion, there is strings attached. With manipulation, there is basically a people accommodate the information they give you, or they make it to where it fits their purpose, and the information might be right, but it's being slanted in some way to help their cause. And brainwashing is also a form of persuasion, although not through persuasion. With brainwashing, that is when people, for example, get you to do what they want you to do, but they, besides doing coercion and manipulation, they also tend to manipulate the environment to to get you to that point where you begin to agree with them to do the things that they want you to do. Another aspect of this lecture is charisma, and charisma is the most complicated of subjects because when you talk about charisma, is difficult to describe. It's not a tangible quality. Charisma is the ability to be likable, and there are many ways in which people can be likable. Technically speaking, charisma is when you see people that somehow they have a unique characteristic, and it seems to be almost like a divine or providential quality that you see in people. We don't know what it is. We can't quite figure it out, but you know that people oftentimes say that sometimes there are this kind of people that they light up a room when they walk into it, and it's because they have something that makes them very likable. Three of these characteristics that I attempted to show you were the charisma of the foreigner, the charisma of the handicap, and the charisma of the sexual mystique. Charisma ultimately has to do with how whatever traits or characteristics you have that make you likable, they have to be balanced out to where it's not overwhelming and there's too much of one thing, because that will defeat the purpose of being likable. I'll give you one example with the charisma of the foreigner. With this being a foreigner, you can probably see that we find ourselves attracted to people that and I don't mean attracted physically, but there is something that is very likable about people who have an accent or who come from a different part of the world, or that are foreign in some way, because we wonder about what they're like. They're so different that we tend to want to pay extra attention to what's going on with those people. And again, it could be just an accent from someone who comes from a different country. And it wouldn't be charismatic if someone has an accent, but their accent is so heavy to where you can't really understand what they're saying. So there's any and all qualities of charisma have to be in a balance, uh, so that it doesn't become overwhelming and is to a point where you don't necessarily think that that's likable or that there's an attraction about it. And the final item that I want to talk about is the Hershey and Blanchard model of situational leadership. I really like this model because when I first learned about it, I found it very useful in how, if you're wanting to ever be able to lead people or manage people, or you're working with somebody, then you can use this model to see that in the quadrants that are provided in that slide, you can see that are people that are in four different categories. On one of them, for example, you have people who are being described as being willing and able to complete a task. In other words, so I could be willing, meaning that I want to do the job and I'm competent to do the job. So then what that means is that you need to leave me alone because I can complete the task and I want to do it, which will be different than if I'm somewhat willing to complete a task, but I'm not competent. Then I kind of want to do it. I sort of want to do it, but I don't know how to do it. So then you need to help me out and you need to supervise me. What if I'm not willing to do it and I'm not competent to complete the task? Then this are the kind of people that we want to supervise and make sure that we provide all the support so that I guide them and help them stay on track so that they can complete the task. So again, the quadrants are about being able to recognize the people that you're working with and whether they are willing and able, or willing, they want to do it and they're competent, or they are willing but not competent, or they're somewhat willing and somewhat competent, or they're somewhat competent but not willing. And so when you figure that out, then you know what kind of support you want to provide. And once again, if I'm willing, if I want to do it and I'm competent, then the best thing for you to do is to step aside and let me do the job because it's not a problem, right? And if you try to micromanage me, then I'm probably going to have a problem with that. But if I'm not able to do the job and I do not want to do the job, then a project still needs to be completed. And at that point, you know that, well, yeah, I need to micromanage this person a bit so that the task can be done. So there you have it. I know there's a little more information on that chapter, but in a nutshell, this is what that lecture is all about. Thank you.